This conference will now be recorded.
Now it's time to behave. Stop.
That's enough.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us. I am really excited about this one. Kind of, in the spirit of the holidays, taking a look at our SAME's past, a look backwards, a look now of where we are, especially in this crazy time. And what I'm, most excited about is looking forward to our next president of SAME, as well as our leader development class, and hearing some of their ideas and thoughts of what SAME, could or maybe should evolve into the future. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Roland de Guzman, who's the COI's vice chair, who's going to walk us through today's program.
Thanks, Caroline. Eddie, can you share the flyer? I mean, I think everybody's seen it, but it's probably the best backdrop.
It's worth showing, yes.
So as we were trying to figure out a way to close out the centennial celebration year as a leader development community of interest, we were thinking, well, what do you do in December? Should we even have one? Because the holidays are kind of weird with schedules and such. But then we realized, and I don't know that I can put my finger on who exactly came up with the idea, but we thought, hey, it's the holidays. We could do a Christmas Carol. So we were trying to figure out, as Caroline said, past leaders. We thought the best way to celebrate the centennial celebration of our society to find leaders from our past and our present and our future. And so as we were going through the names, the Christmas Carol theme just kept popping up. And so that's what we're doing today. And we have some great speakers lined up. And what we're hoping for is kind of an intimate fireside chat feel. And certainly our speakers have demonstrated the ability to do that. So, but in addition to the speakers, we've got a few activities lined up that will take us through the speakers while they're talking. So, Angie, you want to explain how we're going to do some of that stuff?
Sure. So just two things. So the one thing, because if anybody needs to go grab anything, is we're going to have a prize for. Sorry, someone's at my front door. My speaker's going out. Okay. Anyway, back to the a prize for the most festive. So if you have a hat or a Christmas tree, or like Eddie, a happy birthday hat, even like we don't, it could be any holiday, Kwanzaa, whatever, happy birthday, Easter, anything you want. So anything festive, we are going to have a prize at the end for the most festive. And then while Mark Handley is talking, we're going to play bingo. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a link in the chat. And you guys can all click on that at any time. You can click on it now if you want, anytime before Mark starts talking. And what it will do is it's going to bring up a link to, you put in your name and you're going to get a bingo card. And it will be your very own bingo card with words that Mark thinks he's going to use when he's talking. So hopefully he'll say them. And then what you're going to do is as he's talking, what it does is it'll open up in a separate window, like in your Internet Explorer, your Chrome or whatever. And so you just sort of move it over to the side of your screen, right? And then you'll watch Mark. And as he's talking, you move your cursor over there and you can click on the words he's using. So when he says leader, you X out leader. And so the first person to get a bingo, regular old bingo, 5 in a row anyway, like we're not going to be fancy and do 4 corners or whatever, just regular old bingo. If you get it, type it in the chat and then we'll make a note that you got it. And then also the second person, because we're generous and we're going to let 2 people win bingo. So second person to get bingo, there it is. Look, there it is. Wins as well. So you can play around with it a little bit, try to see how to. Some people have a hard time on their computer getting the bingo and the. And we have prizes. So you want to do this. So the most festive and the 2 bingo winners are going to get a box of some sort of SAME swag that our very own Eddie Gonzalez is going to unpack because they need to do it anyway since the move. And you'll get some stuff. I mean, it might be, there might be a polo in there. I mean, I don't know, but you want to play. So do that.
So can you, Angie,
yeah.
can you give us 2 minutes to go get our swag?
Yes.
I was unaware of the swag aspect. Oh, hold on, my swag deliverer may be here.
No, there's a swag aspect. Yes.
The first man, the first gentleman of SAME is here to deliver my swag.
Thank you, Keller.
Thank you, Keller.
Hi, Keller. How are you?
Hey, that's Angie. All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
He probably can't see. It's also a happy hour, so if you need time to go get a drink, you are welcome to do that as well. There will be some toasts, and even though we're recording it, just pretend we're not recording it and just say whatever you want to say.
I'm gonna go get my festive Christmas sweater too. I can't be.
You're all messed up here. It's not on right.
The very attentive first gentleman of SAME.
Yes, very good.
All right, I'm gonna go get the rest of my garb. I'll be right back.
Okay, so everybody has a couple minutes to get a drink, swag, figure out how to find your bingo card. So when Mark starts talking, you're not fumbling with that. But don't X off anything yet. You can't cheat. I think that's it. That's my announcements, right, Roland?
Yeah, I think that's, yep.
Okay.
Well, one more thing, Angie had mentioned toasts. So because it's the holidays, we're gonna have some toasts at the end. We do not have, full disclosure, we do not have any pre-planned toasts. It's not like a dining out where there's a very strict stream of selected people who will be providing toasts. So if you want to present a toast at the end, we'll have some time. So you might start thinking about that as we go through the speakers today. And if you get your drinks now, make sure you pace yourself so that you'll have enough drink for the end when we actually do the toasts. So I think Tiny Tim is all set.
Tiny Tim is definitely set.
The ghost of Christmas present has someone she needs to drive later, so unfortunately I cannot. But I'm feeling like I need a little more room for my camera because I can't get both my hat and my awesome Christmas sweater in the screen at the same time.
Where is the Christmas
Hey,
sweater?
Angie,
It's so small, I can't see.
Madam, what are you, MC? Can I introduce somebody to the call as well?
Yes, you
So
can.
I would like to introduce.
Roland's the MC. I just talked too much.
Okay. So, oh, you're not the, oh, okay, I apologize. So anyway, I'd like to introduce Haley Huff. So Haley is a member of Jacobs, and she recently came on as an executive advisor to the program that I run for Beyond If. The original plan was when I became national president of SAME, I was going to get an executive advisor, which is a Jacobs term for like a high potential up and comer kind of person to help with everything from both SAME as well as the program that I run, which is Beyond If, which is Jacobs innovation program. When COVID hit and it looked like I wasn't going to be traveling, we put that on hold, but we've had a couple of really big initiatives come in, and in very, very short order, we brought Haley on board. And so she has been just tremendous, and she has a very big interest in SAME as well as in Jacobs, but in SAME. She is located in Alaska, and she's a member, she's a young professional within SAME, and so we asked her to join. So Haley, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much, Heather. I'm really looking forward to getting more involved with SAME and appreciate the invitation to this meeting.
We're glad to have you. This is the Leader Development Community of Interest, and so hopefully this will give you a side of SAME that doesn't scare you away, but rather interests you even more.
Haley, welcome. I'm thrilled you're here.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right, so I think everyone's had enough time to get all of their holiday cheer together.
Oh, wait, I have to get.
We will start with the president of Christmas Past. Jane Penny was a president of the Society of American Military Engineers in 2015. She was the first woman president of our society, and she is most recently from AECOM. So without any further ado, we'll have her talk about her perspectives on leadership. Jane, over to you.
Yes, thanks. And thank you so much for the invite to meet with you guys and actually have a discussion. But so it was 95 years before I became president, and honestly, I just got a sneak peek at chapters 1 through 4 of the Century book, which any of you that have seen it know that it is an amazing history of military engineering. And SAME's role in that. And that alone, in just cruising through that, really prepped me for, the society and who we are and how important our history is to where we're going, as, the new leaders, take us forward. So honestly, president of SAME for me was just absolutely volunteer happenstance. My first day at my first SAME meeting, I was asked to be treasurer of the Illini post. So I immediately became, a post leader and went to the post board meetings, then moved to Atlanta in a civil service promotion position. And my first day at the Atlanta Post, we were without a secretary, which is a very thankless job. And so I took over as secretary of the Atlanta Post. Someone just asked me and I said, sure, why not? And then that led to all kinds of just craziness happening. And, my time in SAME, before I really got involved in national leadership, was one where, it was all very, very focused on the post and the post leadership and the needs of the post and the importance of the post. And then Tony Lakita, who was actually the Atlanta Post president, he and Dave Nash, went off to the Middle East, and suddenly we were without a president. And my boss, who was Major General Pat Kelly at the time, voluntold me that I would fill in as the post president until the new South Atlantic Division commander came on board. And then, he would happily take over the position because the post president was normally someone from South Atlantic Division. So as it turns out, the new SAD commander came in and wasn't interested. Then after serving as post president, the regional vice president for the South Atlantic region became available. And there weren't any military folks that were interested in filling that position. And it's like, oh, well, hey, let's just ask Jane. And, luckily, I did regional RVP for 3 years and then reached out to Mike Blunt at the time and said, hey, you'd be really good at RVP and I think you'd love it, so you should take the position. And then it was just, I was engaged at national and one thing led to another. And the next thing I know, the service chiefs could no longer be presidents of the society. And, Tony did his stint and John Mogi did his stint and Gary Engel did his stint. And so we'd gone through kind of the Air Force and the Navy, and the Corps of Engineers. And then it was like, well, hey, what if we just pick a girl? So, I became president and no one was more surprised than I was at the time, certainly, but loved it and have always, been all in for the society and where we're headed. And honestly, as we embrace our past, it's the military engineering leadership that has touched me the most, because I had so many fantastic mentors in my career. And really just looking at the service chiefs and the presidents at the time and what they did for the society and their leadership skills and whatnot was just absolutely daunting. But it was at that time, a real turning point for me, and this will be personal, was when Angie's dad died. And her dad, Lou Martinez, was a mentor of mine. Fantastic guy for those of you that, were blessed to know him. And at that point, I realized, well, wait a second, what is going to happen as all of these military leaders that we've had in this society, pass on? I mean, how are we going to recognize, who they were and what their contributions were to the rest of the people in the society? And that's when, I really pushed for the foundation hard at that point in time, got some pushback, a little bit from national, just because fundraising for the foundation, would also cut into our education and mentoring fund. But really just knew in my heart that it was the right thing to do, and just kept, pushing and poking and prodding. And eventually, the foundation came to become a reality. And so I've been very engaged in the foundation. And I am just thrilled that, now we do have a foundation and we can give back to the society membership and continue on with leadership development. And those of you on the call have given, so much time and heart and interest and commitment to the leadership development program. And so, I mean, this is all about, those of you on the phone know the importance of it and know why it is a big deal and why we need to continue. So let me just close by saying the founding member campaign that we have ends December 31st. So all of you that, really want to contribute, please do so before December 31st so you can actually become a founding member of the foundation. And just, I am so appreciative of everything that you guys do. And, Heather has been an amazing president, leading us through such difficult times. And Mark Handley knows, how much I love and respect, his leadership, and he will be absolutely amazing going forward. So I can assure you, as the ghost of Christmas past, that it is a good thing. It's not the bad part of the story, and it's not the nightmare of the story. It really is, everything good. So to all of you, Merry Christmas.
Wow. Thanks, Jane. I can remember, when you were sworn in, or whatever you call it, as our president up there with, was it Mark Kelly, who was the astronaut?
Yes.
In the foundation, and all the AE Commerce had Jane Penny faces, and there was like a million Jane Pennies in the room. It was phenomenal. But, also just pushing for the foundation. I mean, like you said, majority of the folks on this call are involved with the foundation in one way or another, and it's directly impacting them in a very positive way. So thank you for that.
And Caroline, if I could just add, Jane Penny had the absolute best party when she became president of SAME. We threw a no holds barred, singing, dancing, the whole 9 yards at Jetsy that year. It was fabulous, and so
fantastic.
Jane, thank you so much for that personal touch with talking about SAME's past. I'm so glad that as we talk about SAME's storied past, that we talk about great leaders like Dave Nash and Lou Martinez, and just national treasures. So I'm glad that you were able to weave some of those names into your story. Okay,
hey, Nolan, I think this deserves a toast.
Oh, absolutely.
To the Jane Penny and all those that were before her Christmas past.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so now we have the president of Christmas Present. We introduced her a little bit earlier today, but Heather Wishart-Smith was just installed as our newest president. And as she said, she's with Jacobs, Senior Vice President for Innovation and Technology. So Heather, over to you.
Thank you so much, Roland. I feel like when we do our toast, we ought to use a Tiny Tim toast of Merry Christmas, everyone.
That's
That-
right.
That would be my recommendation. All right, well, thank you so much for the invitation. I love the idea. It's very, very novel and unique, which is really kind of the theme of what we are doing this year with SAME. We're adapting, we're growing, and so I really like this idea. Certainly, this has not been the year we planned. There was a time in my life which Angie knows very well. Angie and I go way, way back. We were actually ensigns together quite some time ago. And as Angie knows, there was a time in my life that was very, very difficult, that I kind of coined a phrase that, this is, at the time, it was, this is not the life I chose, but I'm choosing to make the most of the one I've got. And so I will say that about our year as our centennial year. This is not the centennial year that we chose, but we're choosing to make the most of the one we've got. And I think we're actually going to come out on the other side of it much stronger and much better. And so I think you all know that our theme is let's get it started. And we're just doing that virtually. So we've certainly had a lot of leadership surprises this year during a global pandemic, during really a reckoning as a country in terms of what it means from the perspective of inclusion and diversity and all the rest. So I really love this format. And I think, I may end up being the only SAME president without a photo on the national stage. Or, actually, let me rephrase that. I hope that that is the case, because we know that all of the national events for my year as president will be virtual. But I really do sincerely hope that we'll be able to get Mark on stage by SBC of next year. So I think it's easy. We could just kind of wallow into what we've lost. We could cry into our breakfast cereal about what didn't happen this year for our centennial year. But just like the Scrooge sees the present through another's eyes and then decides to make a change, I think that that's what this year has caused us to do. It's really, we're really looking to make a change. We're looking to adapt and grow. So the pandemic, the virtual events, all of this has caused us to question our past, question our present. And I think it's particularly useful as we look to what our future is going to be in our centennial year and beyond. So if you think back to the movie, not to take the analogy too far, but as Ebenezer Scrooge looked into others, he during that phase of Christmas present, he looked in at the Christmas market, the cottage, the lighthouse. He chose not to go to his nephew Fred's Christmas party initially, and then Bob Cratchit's Tiny Tim. I think just like like Scrooge looked in on all of them, I think it's important for us to look around at our peers and then benchmark ourselves as a society. We've been doing things like looking into virtual meeting tools. We've been looking into things like spontaneous networking tools. We're looking to see what works well, see what we can improve on. And based on some of the benchmarking that I've done personally with some other organizations, I think that SAME is doing extremely well. We have a top-notch national office team that I am so proud to have the opportunity to work with. But all that considered, we still know that we have to do even better if we consider how we can take the best of what other organizations have to offer, what they're doing, and try to adapt them. So we're really trying to take care of these issues to avoid, again, not trying to take the analogy too far, but you think back to those two emaciated characters in the movie, ignorance and want. And we're really trying to avoid them. If we're ignorant about the changes that are occurring around us, if we try to just be the same old society that we've always been, we're not going to deliver value. We're not going to deliver impact for our members, and we're no longer going to be relevant in the future. So we're really looking to try to change the scene for the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. So trying to change things for Mark, change things for Ree. And really a lot of this has to do with driving value and impact to the post and to our members. We do this through market research events. We really looked to try to improve upon what we've done in the past for the small business conference. And we're going to continue to improve. And we recognize the fact that there are some benefits to virtual events. And so we're looking to try to have some sort of hybrid component in the future, because we've been able to attract attendees and participation and engagement from people who haven't been able to travel, say, in the past. And so we're looking to try to take advantage of what we're learning in this very crazy present and adapt it for the future. And I mentioned also spontaneous networking. So how can we find ways to replicate that feeling of sitting down at a lunch table and just making casual conversation with someone next to you? Maybe it turns into something that's a really valuable connection. Maybe it doesn't, but that's really a lot of what SAME is about. So that's what we're really looking to try to replicate, both at the national level and also at the post level too. And We're also looking to try to find ways to be more relevant to our members, because that relevance is what drives the value and the impact. So we're looking at programming and events. And thanks to Joe, we're actually exploring some additional services. He introduced me to a couple of potential partners this week that may allow us to provide some additional services and value to our sustaining members in the way of employees and employee engagement. I also love the fact that this, in our centennial year, as we've gone through so much change, that we've got this diversity and inclusion working group. I think they really uncovered a lot of maybe opportunity for us as a society to be more inclusive, to be more diverse. And I look forward to seeing what comes from them next after they've developed and since they've released this report. And I also, in order to try to make sure that we're as relevant as possible, I have brought forward 3 initiatives as president, if you're not familiar with them. The first is succession planning. And so we stood up, led by Colonel Matt Altman, we stood up the Key Leadership Development Commission. And I know Matt and his team are working closely with this COI, the Leader Development Commission, COI, to work on succession planning. I really want to take the best of what we do in private industry and bring it into SAME so that people view their SAME career with the same amount of regard, really, as what they would do in their private sector career. So help them to understand what opportunities are out there for them, what they should be doing to prepare for those opportunities, and start looking a couple of people deep for all of our really key leadership positions. So we're preparing people for them, and also just kind of getting rid of a lot of the mystery around it. So we make sure that these leadership positions are very accessible to people so they can envision them in those positions. The second initiative is the Strategic Planning Alignment Initiative. And this is led by Buddy Barnes. He's working with our vice presidents, Bob Keyser, Neil, and Charlie, to make sure that what we do as a society is still relevant with our new 2025 strategic plan. I think we have a tendency as a society, it's just kind of human nature to, when a new idea comes up, to kind of bring on that shiny object and bring it in, but we don't always take a look at what the unintended consequences could be. Could we, by bringing in a new initiative, essentially be sort of poaching some of the volunteer resources from something else? That doesn't mean that we shouldn't bring on this new initiative, but maybe we need to take a look every 5 years with our strategic plan to see whether we really ought to be continuing all of these different things. And so we're looking at our post structure, our RVP structure, and our COI structure to make sure that it really fully supports our new strategic plan. And then the third thing is the elected director engagement. The board of direction is comprised of a number of different people, most of whom have set roles. So RVPs, COI directors, but the elected directors are intended to really represent the membership as a whole. And in the past, we as a society haven't really engaged them with specific plans or specific initiatives as we have in the past. So we have asked each elected director to state a commitment, to create a commitment statement, and to report on those commitments each time we have a board meeting so we can really try to improve the society. So those are the 3 initiatives that I brought forward: the succession planning, the strategic planning alignment, and the elected director engagement. And I'm really very optimistic that that's going to drive a lot more value and impact, which will then in turn drive more member recruitment and more retention. So I'm really delighted to be the president of SAME Present. I had the good fortune to learn from our past, to include Madam President Jane Penny, and I hope to help influence our yet to come. And I do want to, before I turn over, have one call out as well, because I know I'm supposed to be talking about the present, not the past, but there's one person on this call who was very involved, in addition to Angie Gorel, in my SAME past, and that's Colonel Patrick Hogmoom. So as much as I despise your hat, Mr. Virginia Tech, I would like to say, so Patrick and I were on the young member, at the time it was called the Young Member Council, now it's called the Young Professionals Community of Interest, and we were vice chairs together. I think I was the chair, that he became the vice chair, and it's just one of those examples. I think, you know, Patrick, when you and I were like in our 20s and just sort of doing this sort of thing, we didn't think about the fact that decades later we'd still be friends, we'd still be colleagues. You know, you'd be a colonel, I'd be an SVP or whatever, but it just really shows the value of these long-standing SAME relationships that you have. So with that, I'll close, but it wouldn't be right if I didn't play my song. It's just it's a rite of passage. So thank you all for the opportunity. Let's get it started and let's move on to our presidents of Christmas yet to come, or SAME yet to come.
Cheers.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Heather.
Everyone.
Great job, Heather.
God bless us, everyone.
God bless us, everyone. Don't steal my line. That's coming up.
Gosh darn it, I messed it up.
Yeah, really.
There's still time.
God bless us. Let's have fun.
Yeah, God bless.
I like that.
All right. So thanks so much, Heather, for that those wonderful words of wisdom. So right now we're gonna skip around a little bit in the from the flyer, and we're gonna shift gears to the Christmas yet to come, but we'll talk to Tiny Tim, also known as Ree Miskimon. She's one of our SAME future leaders. She just jumped onto the SAME national scene as one of our LDP class of 2021. The best class ever, I think, unless we've got someone from the class of 2020 here to just.
I was going to say Erin's on. She might disagree with that.
We outnumber.
But Ree is joining us from Prime AE Group Incorporated, where she's the Senior Director of Marketing and Communications. So Tiny Tim, Ree, over to you.
Thank you. I need to go get him, so you just wait just a second, please.
Uh-oh, we didn't plan this. We don't know what she's gonna do.
Just doing a wardrobe change.
I know.
You think?
Going off
You can all watch my dog right here. Playing with the ball every single phone call.
I'm back.
Oh,
there we go.
it's Tiny Tim.
From Baltimore City. This is what you get. Tiny Tim from Baltimore City. And my candle. You know what? I'm gonna turn my light back on, but this is my candle because Tiny Tim. I want to thank Arpan Patel and Craig Bryant for their collaboration with what I'm going to discuss. So this is addressed to Scrooge, because Scrooge is a meanie, we know that. So, and I'm going to read from notes because I have important things I would like to say, Tiny Tim would like to say. Scrooge, all I want for Christmas are opportunities for my fellow past and current LD peers to hold leadership roles with the society, that we have a clear path to fulfill these roles, and that our current SAME leaders are our guiding North Star. What's the payback the society gets from the LDP, and what is the expectation of the graduates to continue to be involved in the society? There's a clear expectation of what the society needs from the fellows, but not from the LDPers. The society invests a lot of money and time into the program. What are the measures of effectiveness for the LDP? We want to paint a picture of how our current leaders can help us be the next North Stars. So sit back and let me share some thoughts and ideas with you. I speak on behalf of past, current, and future LDP participants that we see a future bright with leaders who were immersed in programs such as the LDP. We embody the tomorrows of the society. I looked over at the comments, damn it. But it isn't clear how we get there. Scrooge, what is the expectation of give back from our current leaders? Let me help you answer that. A question our current leaders can ask us is, what are you looking to do for the society as a result of your LDP experience, and how can we help you get there? We ask this question about your expected give back because the society has invested a lot of money, as I said, into developing and deploying programming for the LDP. There must be a return on investment you are expecting. We realize it isn't your expectation we give back at the level of leadership, but please know that many of us want to. To continue growing future leaders, the LDP will gain momentum and become a very robust program, more than it is today, and that is an awesome thing to anticipate. You may want to know what that looks like, and I'll give you a glimpse into our future. Some of our classmates are looking at building an advisory group for the society and our local posts. We are looking at a 2 to 3 year commitment where if we aren't ready, where if we aren't already involved on the post board, that will join or join in a more meaningful capacity in a role that directly impacts the work the post is trying to achieve. Another idea is we'd like to stay on a roster to support the society work through challenges they are experiencing. As an alum LDPer, Craig said, those wicked tough issues. Maybe we aren't the person to help solve the problem, but we are the people who can help bring the resources together. Another thought is we can take our UPICs and turn them into projects we carry throughout our posts or even regions. My LDP group, Pete, congrats on your appointment to fellow, and Bruce, congrats on his newborn baby girl, are focusing on mentoring. How can we support our current and future scholarship recipients through their journey to a career in the AEC industry? We invest in them, we should be their North Star. Help them find a new post to join when they go off to school, help them with their resume, internships, job hunting. After all, they are the future leaders of the society. Here's your call to action, or leading it forward. How informed are people that the LDP exists and its intended purpose? We aren't sure folks outside of our program recognize who we are and what we do. We, the LDP class, are a unified group. Let us help you bring publicity to the program. Get us more involved with post, regional, and societal happenings. Get us involved with conferences. Let us help you publicize this prestigious program. Beyond visibility of the program and its participants, what are you willing to do to help the LDPers grow within their posts and to help give back to the society? We need our current leaders to help bring up the growing leaders. We are your future leaders, Scrooge. Help us help you execute the society's mission of fulfilling the strategic plan's goal of growing tomorrow's leaders. And I just want to close with, God bless us, everyone.
That was so good, and I'm so glad you have it written down.
I could never remember that.
I'm glad you wrote it down.
I really need this drink right now.
We're gonna cheers.
That was awesome. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. I really, listen, Arpin's on the call right now, and I'm very, very grateful that we had an opportunity to collaborate this week. I don't think Craig is. Craig Bryant, he thought he might try to join. I just put a post out there. We have a WhatsApp and I just put it out there saying I'm going to be talking, and I want to know I know it's important to me and Pete and Bruce, but what about other people? What are we seeing? And Arpin could probably jump in and talk a little bit more about some of those things I discussed. But it's all about what more can we do? What more can be done for us and with us? You know, we're not asking for that handout. That's not what this is about. And I know you didn't hear that from me. But there are a lot of things that we're chewing on right now. Arpin, did you want to add anything?
No, I just wanted to say thanks, Ree, for advocating for us LDP students and past graduates. And then obviously this is a great forum for a little bit of a directed question from us LDPers to, the SAME senior leadership. We're excited. We're grateful that we got selected in the program. We're excited and looking forward to the growth of the LDP program moving forward. But we want to make sure that it's not, and I hate to say it this way, a waste of effort. We want to make sure we do give that return back to society, or return to the current leaders and the problems that you guys are challenged with right now. And some of us are tasked, like I know Bruce has a baby. I think we've had 3 or 4 new babies in our LDP class alone in this past year. But and people are post-level positions and directors and got plenty of work to do and deal with the COVID realities of the world right now. But we're looking forward to helping out the society and making sure the society grows in a direction like Heather mentioned, and Mark's probably going to mention, like, what are the challenges of tomorrow and how do we pivot the society to answer those challenges, or mold it into something that adds value for the next generation. So we're here to help. Please let us know what you guys think now, and we're trying to just be, I guess, your junior ranks growing into the positions that you currently hold. So appreciate it.
Yeah, and that goes with Heather's #1 initiative, succession planning. It's on all levels. I think everyone would agree with that.
So Ree, Arpin, and Craig in absentia, thank you so much for those great words and for laying down the gauntlet to challenge us as the older, more, I'm going to use the term more seasoned SAME leaders to help you lead the society into the future. So having said that, we're now honored to have the president of Christmas Yet to Come, a personal mentor of mine. So it's my privilege to introduce Admiral retired Mark Handley, who's joining us from AECOM, where he's been for the past 5 or 6 years. Before that, he had a long and distinguished career in the United States Navy Civil Engineer Corps and Seabees. So, Mark, over to you, sir.
Great, thanks, Roland. And it's an absolute honor. But let me just tell you, for Tiny Tim, right? If only a fraction of what you talked about comes to pass, the Christmas yet to come is going to be wonderful. And I'll just tell you, for the LDB class, I would just say that the future is so bright you got to wear shades. Now that's not going to be the theme song. I'm not going to use that for my theme song next year. But I am, I was inspired just listening to the ideas and the energy and passion. And honestly, it reminded me as a junior to mid-grade officer in the Navy when I wanted to change the world as well. And again, that type of passion and enthusiasm really, I think, it just inspires people and inspires people around you. So if you can make that infectious, I think that'd be wonderful. So, but I do think we do have a bright future. You know, I would say with the the state of the world today, we're not out of the woods, but our future is bright. I was listening to NPR this week, and I heard first vaccination in the United States happened. It was a ICU nurse, and she got vaccinated. It wasn't a big ceremony, but they had someone there and they recorded it. And the first thing she said when she was getting the vaccination is, "I believe in science." And so she was, just a symbol for kind of us starting to get out of the woods from this one. I also see, we've got a new administration coming, and hopefully some of the churn of that will die down. And really, regardless of your political affiliation, I think we're gonna start and hopefully have a focus on what's best for our country. And I get a sense that our entire nation is ready to get back to work and back to some sense of normalcy. And what will that new normal be? It's going to be a mixture of in-person and virtual. The workplace probably will change from what we've known in the past. I don't think everybody will go back to the office. I know I have no intention to, but again, work location is going to matter much less. And but in that, I think engagement is going to matter much more, and that's why I think SAME and other professional organizations like us are going to be important going forward to stay connected and stay current as we kind of go forward. We talk a little bit about the new administration in the future. There's going to be a focus on COVID. There's going to be a focus on COVID relief. We see some packages in Congress going back and forth. And honestly, I spent some time with Roland in Washington. He was doing the liaison to the Hill, and I can't remember how many times Roland took me over to explain some Navy program. And but I always tend to watch the work of our congressional arm is they're going to do a lot of debate, but I look at what the result's going to be at the end, and at some point there's going to be some COVID relief, and then I think they're going to focus on restarting the economy, and part of that is going to be infrastructure recapitalization. And I always, they debate whether it's going to be dollars, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, or $1 trillion. That'll be a political decision, but that number is still pretty big. And it's going to be, our industry that is going to, help restart the economy. So I think we're going to have a huge role in kind of doing that going forward. And I always like to say that, part of this is, you want to be winning in the turns. Whenever there is change and something that's, not expected, and you can see that change coming. The NASCAR racers will tell you that you win on the turns. You don't win in the straightaways when everything's normal. You win when things are changing. And so I think that's also why SAME is going to be important going forward. And we have to, in that turn, we have to focus on being relevant. A lot of what Heather had said before is, you know, how do we stay relevant going forward? So a couple of thoughts as we kind of look to that future. You know, I think as a society, you know, I'll touch a couple of our goals. You know, one is strengthen industry government engagement, and we have to lead that engagement. We have to stay in tune with the government and how they're adjusting and how industry is adjusting. There's going to be challenges for both, but we're going to find new ways of doing business. And when we do that, some of those new ways are going to work and some won't. I think it was Admiral John Corca that said at one of our SAME events when we were having our USAG meeting and with the service chiefs, and he basically said is, if we come out of this and we start and go back to the way we did business before this, we will have failed because we will not have learned and we've not adapted. So as we kind of come out of this, you know, we're going to continue. We're going to fail fast, and then we're going to adapt and try again. And that's kind of what I think our society's been doing all year, is we've been failing fast, and then we adapt and we try again. And honestly, you can look at what we did at JETSI, what we did at SBC. We continue to improve because we are pushing that envelope and innovating as we go forward. So, you know, there's a little bit about building and sustaining resilient communities. I think we have learned through all of this how to be resilient personally and professionally, and we're going to build on what we've learned. And then the other one kind of comes back to this group, is develop leaders for the profession. So, you know, SME, we have to build on the successes like this leadership development program. I love the idea of advisory council that you mentioned, Tiny Tim. But you know, we have a really good national program that's getting, again, more momentum. And I'd love to encourage more local programs. I think DC is a great example. I think, Heather, you've been involved with that program there. They just had a graduation last week for that program. And I also think the KLDC that Heather started is fantastic. You know, that is senior leadership development. And I think we're going to continue that as we kind of go forward. So in the KLDC, one of the things I think we'll also do is we'll also add a diversity perspective. You know, we're in the process of doing a kind of a diversity survey. We've got a group looking at diversity across our organization. And from my perspective, diversity brings new ideas. It brings different perspectives, and it makes us stronger. It's not as much about quotas or you know, demographic splits, but it is really about bringing in new ideas, and a diverse representation will help us bring those new ideas. And the last one is kind of preparing service members and veterans for the AEC industry. I can remember when Roland was starting to get ready to retire. I retired a couple of years before him, and he's mentioned, you know, he and I worked together many times. I'm not sure if he was my mentor as much as I was his mentor, but, you know, I learned a lot from him when we were in DC, and, you know, I reached out to help him a little bit when he did it, when he made his transition. But we all support military engineers, and they are an important part of our industry. So keeping them engaged, it will help us bring even more value as we go. So, so a little bit more about the future of SAME. You know, our future was really built on the, you know, we heard from our past and our present, but we build on our success of the people that came before us. But we can't rest on our laurels. I think Jane Penny, as she talked, she paved the way. You know, she was voluntold once or twice, and I know she voluntold me a number of times. And I will also tell you that I would not be the president-elect today if it was not for her encouragement and her willingness to break down barriers. There was you know, I will tell you, I think Jane, a couple of times, Jane, you told me I needed to be a president of SAME, and I said, Jane, I'd love to, but I don't qualify, right? I didn't qualify because I never got a chance to be a post president. You know, in my military career, I think it was when I went up to work in the DC area, I was just about to be the post president of the Hampton Roads Post. and I got one of those calls from, hey, congratulations, you're getting promoted and you're moving to the Pentagon. And off I went. But Jane took that excuse away from me, and I thank her for that. So she broke down that barrier and made the path to becoming the president of our society a little bit easier. The other one I would just tell you, it has been an absolute honor, and I've been thrilled to work with Heather. She has been an absolute great president. She has strengthened our governance more than anybody I've seen of late. And we talked about the Key Leader Development Commission. It really is about developing future leaders. She and I are of like minds with the KLDC, and again, you'll see that continue in the future. And then the community of interest. Those are where we do thought leadership within our profession. And she's had just a great initiative, and I hope to be able to build on some of that success. And she has, more than anything else, navigated us through the pandemic, kept us all positive and focused, and assured we adapted and adapted quickly. So again, I intend on building on the successes and of what Heather has laid, and the people before, Jane, and the number of folks that have been president before. And really, it's not just about the president. It's about our whole leadership continuum, our board of directors, our RVPs, our post presidents. And again, all of you will take those roles as we go in the future. So again, I get the sense that the nation is ready to get back to work. I think SAME probably more than most. For me, SAME is more than a professional society. It feels a lot like family. When we get together, it's like old home week, and everyone is doing that. And my hope, and I think Heather, you touched on it. I'm hoping that we have the 2021 as a family reunion at SBC, but also, when the time is right, at a post-level event, at regional events, some of our jets, and then our national events. That's really where I see it. So it's time to wake up from the Christmas Carol dream. At the end of that movie, he wakes up and he realizes all the blessings we have. And I wish really only the best for you and your family this holiday season. It's a time that we can all enjoy. I'm glad I'm able to kind of raise a glass and salute to everybody here. I wish you a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas. And it's time to turn it back to Tiny Tim to bring us home tonight. But again, I really do appreciate the time with you. And I'm not sure if anybody got bingo, or if I even hit half the ones out there. But
you
So
did
Mark,
it,
can you
Mark.
talk about the strategic plan so I can get bingo?
How about something on the foundation, or
Talk
yeah.
all the way around.
What are you planning? Talk about planning.
Planning, yeah.
Mark, I want to hear about your gingerbread.
Yes. And it's built on
I have to
a
admit, Andy asked me
foundation.
for those, and I had no idea what I was gonna. I hadn't thought about what I was gonna
so good.
talk.
It's
The
funny.
bingos were coming in as you were doing it. Worked so
That's
good. But I will
so
tell you, Joe Stradell, when we played this in Atlanta, what he did at the very end, because they had a full card win, right? So somebody had to get all of them. He just read all the words. And then it was like, boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome.
But you did good because you did it for real.
All right, good. All right, Tiny Tim, thanks very much. Back over to you.
God
Well.
bless us, everyone.
God bless us.
God bless us.
Merry Christmas.
Oh my goodness, is that Santa Claus? Am I
Merry
hearing reindeer?
Christmas.
Oh,
So I was right around the Earth making a practice run, and Rudolph said, "You have to follow the North Star. It will take you someplace special." And I landed here, and I'm looking at this great group that calls themselves the North Star, that believe in the wisdom of selfless service. Tiny Tim, you are wise beyond your years. Way wise beyond your years. I will find a way to grant you your wish, and the wish of the rest of the North Star. Bless you all, one and all. Have a great Christmas, and I will see you because you are all on my nice list. I just want you to and I'm thankful that Rudolph told me to follow the North Star. God bless you. I will see you in a week.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Merry Christmas, Santa.
Aw, that was so nice. I thought someone was breaking glasses at first. We toasted and then it was like mayhem. Like, that's a shame if you just spilled your wine.
So I
Aw.
think our first bingo winner was Josh Carroll. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
got it.
Major Carol.
You got it early. You must have the lucky card. And I think our second winner was Caroline. So
Thank you, Mark. Yes.
good job, Caroline. And then, so we'll give out the prize for most festive. So here's the thing. So Caroline and I have been texting. So
Oh,
we've been
darn, I
texting.
should have put my balls on.
So there's a lot of stuff like Ree, like awesome, so cool. Heather, like she went like Heather's sweater and all that is so good. Like it's so hard to not give it to y'all, but we're actually giving this to Michael Herman because he looks like Santa Claus. I mean, it's like Santa Claus sitting there for real. So Michael Herman, you're gonna win most festive because you just look like Santa Claus. And the hat's perfect and the beard's perfect and
It is.
Most festive.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody. Your stuff will be coming. I guess I'll email y'all, but I'll need your address. But we'll do that. We'll do that somewhere. Yeah, we'll do official stuff somewhere else.
All right. Well, we are at the top of the hour, almost exactly. So it's almost like we planned it that way. So, Caroline, I think over to you to close us out.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for coming. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I am so looking forward to getting this new year kicked off. Looking forward to continuing to work with the LDP classes of the past and the future. And as Mark said, our future is definitely bright in SAME. So unless anybody else would offer up another toast, going
we
once.
can always do
Hey,
that.
I'll do another toast.
Okay, go for it, Eric.
Toast. Hey, I really want to toast our LD COI and LDP leadership, Caroline and Mike, and how well they lead us. And so to you two guys who started this all off and got this bunch of crazy people together, to you guys. And thank you.
The whole task force.
Thank
Yeah.
you for leading us.
Thank
Cheers.
Cheers. And to Eddie. Eddie's been amazing, guiding our group.
Eddie is
I
amazing.
say cheers to Eddie. Eddie.
Cheers.
Eddie.
Eddie, day in and day out.
Does everyone know that Eddie is a spice master? Does everyone know he was featured in a magazine?
And you can order his spices and they ship right to your house.
I called him out.
Yeah.
I have a grill, Eddie. You can come cook at my place.
Eric, that was a great toast. Mark talked about the society being like a family, and every Friday when we get together as a LDP task force and a leader development COI, it's like a family reunion. It's the highlight of the week, and thanks for giving that toast.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's a fun group.
I know everybody in my office is jealous because they know my Friday calls. So
Our class has a happy hour tomorrow. Very excited.
oh,
Nice.
nice.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, I
I have an
enjoyed
interview tomorrow, Arpin. I have an interview, and then we have our happy hour, so that'll be a good reliever, stress reliever.
Yeah, we'll celebrate or sympathize, either one. So
I don't know. Yeah, right. This is awesome. Thank you guys for planning this. God
You
bless
too, Jane.
everyone.
So
You're
thanks to
amazing.
Jane, to Heather, to Mark, to Ree. We appreciate you guys playing along. This was
Thank you for
fantastic.
going along with our crazy plan.
Yeah, I had fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
give me
need
the
to drop.
rules.
I'm sorry, but it was super fun. I'm gonna steal this, the bingo and the 3-tier of Christmas, past, present, and yet to come. So I love it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
fun.
Nice.
All right, guys.
Right.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.